the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m., where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
A team cannot.
Taking you through as it happened.
It's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
with investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sport, entertainment, and business news, so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on Journalist Hangout. I am Esther Makwariola. Today on the program, CJN restores full complement of Supreme Court judges, swears in 11 justices. And later on the show, Nigerian Armed Forces debunk story of coup scare as Defense Headquarters dismisses report of putting Guards Brigade on high alert and threatens legal action. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kodade Otitoju and Chris Kehinde Wandu. Journalist Hangout starts now. Right, let's begin in the Temple of Justice, where the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, has sworn in 11 new justices for the Supreme Court. At the ceremony, the CJN charged them not to allow their ambition to becloud their sense of judgment. Some of the justices are Jumai Hanatu, Sanki Chidiebere Woma Uwa, Chioma Egondu Musu Iheme, Haruno Simon Samani, and more, Asiemu Adumehi. Mikhail, let's begin with you on this now. What's your expectations following this appointment of new justices? And do you think this could perhaps resolve the challenge of, will I say, effective justice delivery in Nigeria? What do you make of this, first off?
Well, certainly it will help quicken the pace of justice delivery. This is the first time we're having a full complement of Supreme Court judges. And the current CJN can take pride in the fact that during this time, we have this full complement of judges. And the president also has to take credit for what has happened, because he's the one who sent the list to
the Senate.
In the past, there were complaints that some geopolitical zones were not adequately represented. A judge will die, we will not appoint any judge to replace him. And it went on like that, until it got to a situation that there were complaints, especially from the southeast, that they didn't have enough people, justices in the Supreme Court. I remember when Justice Datijo retired, his parting shots were quite significant in terms of the rot in the judiciary that he complained about. And he spoke extensively about the fact that some states have not been able to fill their quota in the Supreme Court, and even said that it was deliberate. That it was deliberate that judges were not, judges who died were not replaced. You know, Justice Nweze died. We waited and waited. No replacement came, but all that has been sorted now. Judges have had to graduate from the appeal court to the Supreme Court. Some of them participated actively, so the people sworn into the participated actively in the resolution of electoral litigation this past few months. For example, the lead judge at the Kanu Election Petitions Tribunal, Adumen, is now the Supreme Court. Justice Samani, who led the president, yes, you know, and a few others like that. So it gives me hope that the pace of justice will be quickened, because when you look at the fact that at the point we had just 10 judges, so what 21 judges can do, you know that 10 judges cannot do. Yeah. Even if they will do it, they can't do it at the same pace that double that number would be. So it's good for our judicial system that we now have full complement of judges. We've always said Supreme Court judges are overworked. So many cases that ought not to get to Supreme Court get to Supreme Court. People are even advocating that we have to look for extra judicial means of resolving matters rather than every matter going to court and ultimately ending in Supreme Court. So with this full complement of judges, justices of the Supreme Court, the CJR will be able to assign cases to as many judges as possible, and I'm confident that this will bode well for the judiciary.
Right. CKN, also we understand the CGN asked them not to allow their ambition becloud their sense of judgment, rather. What do you make of that assertion, and how do you think these justices can live up to expectation?
Yes, apart from that, he also said that they should expect more criticism over their judgments. So these are not rookies. These are justices who have seen it all. Most of them started from High Court to Court of Appeal, then from Court of Appeal to Supreme Court. So at least none of them have put in nothing less than about 20 to 25 years in the court. So they are well grounded. So criticism is not something that will be new to them. Dispensation of justice is nothing new to them. They've done a lot of that while they were at the Court of High Court and also Court of Appeal. The only difference now is that they are in a place of finality, as it were. You know, they say once you take a case to Supreme Court, once you lose there, the only thing you do is appeal to God. That is the end of the matter. So they are taking up more responsibilities. And just as BK said, we hope and believe that this will accelerate some of the cases we have in the Supreme Court. The last time we had a full complement of the Supreme Court was as far back as about 2020 or thereabouts, even before that. But you come to realize that some cases in the Supreme Court take up to 10 years for you to get judgment. You come to realize that by the time the case gets to Supreme Court and all the time people wait, by the time the judgment is being given, most of the people that brought the case have died. It has always been the case. Lawyers have also complained that if you go to the Supreme Court today to pick a date, you will not be able to get a date for the next 2 years. At times it could take 3 years before you can get a date for your case to be heard, except for accelerated cases like that of election, that of financial crime and the rest of it. But any other case could take that long. So that is why you see that even in law, as a law student then and also as a law graduate, there's always been this call for what is known as ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution Mechanism, which is what some states are already doing, especially Lagos State is very good at that. That is why you see that Lagos State created the mediation centers in Lagos. That is not every case that you have to take to the court. You see somebody having a problem with his landlord, he wants to go to court. But they have a mediation center where you can go and also get this resolved, and with less problem, less time, and rest of them. So I think we should push more on the issue of ADR, and which is why we also have the Institute of Arbitration. I'm a member of the Institute of Arbitration, United Kingdom. And what this also is that it's not all the cases that you take there. You see what happened in some of the cases between Nigeria and some companies and even other countries. It's not every case that you take to court. So what I will also profess that most of the judges at the court of at the High Court, at the Court of Appeal as well, even at the Supreme Court, if there are cases that you think that they can be able to, this thing can be resolved easily without necessarily going through the process of, if you understand what I mean, then it should be sent to arbitration, or even for mediation and rest of them, so that we have less cases. It's only very important cases that should come. In fact, there was a particular time that I know that a particular Supreme Court judge complained bitterly about some of the cases being brought to them at the Supreme Court and said, this is not supposed to be here. Why are you wasting our time here? So we congratulate the 11 justices of the Supreme Court, and I hope that their impact will be felt in the next few months and the next few years.
Indeed, and let's hope that the Nigerians get quick dispensation of justice with this new appointment. So let's quickly move on to our next issue, where the legal battle between the federal government and the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, is far from over. The federal government has engaged the services of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Adegboyega Awomolo, as to lead its legal team in the prosecution of treasonable felony and terrorism charges brought against Kanu. Awomolo is taking over from David Kaswe, a senior lawyer from the Federal Ministry of Justice in Abuja, who had been handling the case for the federal government. Kanu has also engaged new lawyers for his defense, and his new team of lawyers is led by Aloy Ejimako and Pam Ejiofo. BKO, first of all, I want to understand the reason for the change, although no reasons has been given, adduced rather to the change of legal team. But what do you think could be the reason behind the change of the legal team of the federal government and also the defense lawyers for Kanu?
What I sense is a desire by the federal government to give the case utmost seriousness. Because when you look at this, the decision that has been taken, the implication is that they're going to spend more money to prosecute this case than they were spending previously. Well, it's within the powers of the Attorney General to hire a private lawyer to handle this kind of cases and relieve the principal counsel, who is a staff of the federal government, from it. Awomolo, the senior advocate of Nigeria, with more than 40 years post-bar experience. That's significant. He's one of the best judges and lawyers in our country. He's one of the most prominent, and for the Attorney General to have picked him shows to me that they are not interested in taking chances on this matter. And it's not as if the person who was there was not good enough, but I guess that they needed greater experience and greater knowledge of the law and all that, which someone in Awomolo's position will provide. As I said earlier, this will cost them more money because the principal counsel definitely they don't, apart from the allowances, they don't earn the kind of money that SANS will earn when they are taking up your matter. But it's a decision that the our Attorney General has taken. He knows best in these matters. So I guess he believes that this is the best person to help them prosecute the matter.
So what about Kanu's?
Kanu, I wouldn't know whether there was a fallout between Kanu and Ozekome, Dr. Ozekome, who was handling his matter. I wouldn't know. These sort of things are not easy to determine. But if it wasn't extremely necessary, he wouldn't have dropped a lawyer who had been handling his matter since 2021. Now we have Pam Ejiofor, lawyer Ejimako had been there all along. A lawyer had been with the legal team all along. But now he's been given a greater prominence. And Kanu too is not taking the case lightly. His lawyers want bail at this time because, according to them, he's been suffering from hypertension and he needs surgery because of the problem with his hair. But whether the court will agree to let him go on bail so that he can have surgery on his hair is a question that will be resolved with time. But as things stand, the Lawyers opposed the idea of bail, arguing that in the past he was granted bail and he jumped bail. So the lawyer is saying, as far as he's concerned, there is nothing that shows to them that if he's granted bail, he won't jump bail a second time. But the judge made one request that I find interesting. Kanu has been wearing the same dress since 2021 when he was brought before the court. And the judge is saying, look, I don't like the fact that you turn up before me wearing the same dress. I want you to wear something different. But Kanu is saying, okay, if I must wear something different, I have to wear something traditional with Isiagu and the rest of them. And the judge is saying, just be prepared to wear something simple. I doubt if Kanu will take that advice. He would rather wear what he thinks
befitting of his status?
Yes, that is where the disagreement is. So we'll see how things pan out in the coming days, and I'm sure that even the reason why this significant decision to drop Dr. Ozekome for Pam Ejiofor will be known to us in the fullness of time. As for Omolo, it's within the right of the Attorney General to hire a private lawyer to take over from a government prosecutor, as the case may be, government counsel, as the case may be.
So, CKN, with this external prosecutor, a private prosecutor, if you like, of taking over the case, what are you likely to foresee as this case goes on? Even though the trial has been adjourned, we understand, till March the 9th. What are you likely to see in days to come when this trial begins? Are we likely to see any, quickened judgment or hearing, or what are you likely to see?
Well, if the whole idea is to quicken judgment, I'm all for it. The federal government has a right to appoint whoever they think should be able to prosecute the case. Kanu's case has been adjourned to March 19th, when, his bail application will be heard. The trial will start on the 20th, the next day, March 20th. But we have to look a bit back. The appeal court discharged and acquitted him in October 2022. It was based on that the federal government appealed and went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, on December 15, 2023, said that Kanu should stand trial for treason. And he has been he has been there since 2021 when he was arrested. And what the Court of Appeal said was that his arrest in Kenya was illegal. That was the whole, that for Nigeria to have gone to Kenya to arrest him was in another country, that it was legal. And it was based on that premise that the Court of Appeal. But the Supreme Court in its wisdom have said, no, he must stand trial. But my whole total approach to this is different.
Okay.
I believe that there should be a political approach to the issues at stake.
Why?
Because I feel that this issue, as it is, has lingered for too long. And if you see the agitation in the Southeast, it's based on the trial, this same trial going on. I'm not saying that he's innocent. I'm not saying that he cannot be charged for what, but I believe that the government, as it were, can look at political solution. There have been people, eminent people from the South have said, release these guys to us, we are going to say. In as much as, yes, people continue to say that, oh, when he was arrested, when they were released, he jumped bail. But we have to look at the circumstances leading to that. His house was raided by the military, and he escaped. He was almost killed. And that was how he escaped. He left the country. And I've said it time with that number that leave the messenger, look at the message, and you ask yourself, what Nnamdi Kanu has been agitating for? Is it true or not? Is it true that his people of the Southeast have been marginalized or not? Is it true that since after the Civil War, the 3 R's that were agreed by the federal government as it concerns the Southeast hasn't been fulfilled? Those are the issues that are agitating the mind of everybody. His approach may be wrong. You might not like his approach, but the fact is that what he is saying, what he has been saying, and the right of these people that have been started, and let's not, this is not the only country. There are some guys called Catalans in Spain. I'm sure you've heard them. When you hear Barcelona football club, Barcelona as a region has been fighting the federal government in Spain that they want their own, they want to go their separate ways. It has been going on. In fact, the leader of that was arrested some time ago and later released. So there has been agitation. Agitation is a normal thing. Even here in Nigeria, remember the issue of Igboho and what happened? Igboho was raided by DSS and he was to be arrested before he ran to Cotonou, Benin. It was in Cotonou that he was now arrested and he was kept in jail. And recently, he was released. Igboho is back in the country. He's Nigerian now. So what I'm saying is that we saw a political solution in as much as Igboho was kept for about a year or two. But the fact is that we still had this political solution. So I still believe that instead of going through this trial and the rest of them, we can be able to bridge some level of political, we can come to a political table and be able to resolve this. At the end of it all, jailing Nnamdi Kanu, will it solve the problem? Will it solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria, both in the Southeast and everywhere? That is my own personal opinion. But good enough, the trial is going to resume on the day. But there have been consistent delay. Here, the question I asked, when Nnamdi Kanu, when Court of Appeal asked the federal government to release Nnamdi, why was he not released? If you are going to go appeal, you have to obey that order. Then you can, if there is a counter order to that, then you have to rearrest. It was said that he should be released. He was not released. So those are the issues that, so that is what I'm talking about, saying that it is not just about the court. A political solution is what I see that can solve this problem. And except we follow that path, we are getting nowhere.
All right, let's quickly go on a very quick break. You're still on to Journalist Hangout. We'll have more discussions after this. Just stay with us.
This is the man the hearts of Nasarawa beats for. A man who has continued to live on his promises. A man that has affected the lives of his people, irrespective of tribe or religion.
Well, for a bustling city like Lagos, traffic management is a Herculean task, hence the use of pedestrian bridges to ensure sanity. Residents of some parts of Lagos are calling on the state government for immediate repair of the damaged pedestrian bridge at Alagbere in Ketu area of the state. And the Alagbere pedestrian bridge was partially damaged due to a collision by an overloaded truck. Let's share an update on the damaged bridge by TVC News' Sarah Ayeku.
It's more than a month since a section of the Alagbere footbridge was knocked down following a collision with a trailer laden with a 5.2 feet container. Pedestrians, especially residents of Alagbere in Ekiti local council development area, are still waiting for the Lagos state government to fix the damaged footbridge completely. After clearing the debris on the 8th of December, the government made promises, some of which were the deployment of traffic management personnel and repairs on the footbridge.
Vehicles are coming with high speed. You know, most of them don't even know that the pedestrian is off. So that is the danger crossing the road. So I was surprised to see the last man. What is last man doing? Are they arresting people moving without a vehicle? So we just appeal to governments, to help us.
This motorist was asked to stop for pedestrians. Having refused, it took the intervention of 3 last-mile officials to get him to stop. When he did, he almost got into an altercation with the officials. Eyewitnesses say since the bridge had been damaged in December, accidents have been recorded frequently.
Church, instantly.
On Sunday, while a man was on his way to church, he was hit by a vehicle. He died instantly. Same thing happened on Tuesday. Ask the last-mile officials. I heard before he got to the hospital he died. The government should fix the bridge. The vehicles have refused to stop, she said. TVC News has made several calls and sent messages to the special advisor to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on infrastructure and when the project will likely commence. The ministry had promised to get back to us. But it's been 2 weeks since we last heard from the State Ministry of Infrastructure. In a previous telephone conversation, the special advisor hinted that the bridge had structural defects.
For now, the responsibility of safeguarding lives lies solely on a few officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency and some officials of the Neighborhood Watch. The question most of these residents are asking is, how long would it take the government to fix the pedestrian bridge at Alagbere? They're also asking the government to sustain the safety measures already in place at this section of the Apapa-Oshode Expressway. Sarah Ayeku, TVC News, Lagos.
Ikeo, let me direct the question at you now. How long do you think it would take before the government responds to this cry of the people?
I don't know how long it will take. But we expect them to construct, to fix that bridge without further delay. It's not pleasing on the eye to see that bridge, in the state that it is currently. And it does not cover the government in roses. To know that this thing happened a long time ago and they've not found a way to fix the bridge. Between the federal government, the Federal Ministry of Works, and the Lagos State government, they should be able to come together and solve this problem. I've been told that some people have died, having been run over by vehicles. You can see Lagosians. This is how they are. Extremely impatient, irritable. The people are being, even the last mile officials managing traffic on the road, standing in the middle of the road and telling people to slow down. They are putting their lives at risk because some of these crazed drivers will not stop. As we can see, as they were stopping them on one side, the people on the other side were just
speeding away.
So you've got to fix the bridge so that, look at that person, almost got hit. We've been told that some people have died already. You can see, just watch. Despite the fact that they were being told to stop, they kept moving. Putting people's lives at risk. Government should not watch people die before taking measures to solve this problem. They should not, because it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And there ought to be even more pedestrian bridges along this corridor to save the lives of our people. We need to even construct more pedestrian. Look at the one in Alausa. Before they constructed it, many people had died. Before they eventually constructed this some years back, many people had died.
It's one thing to construct these pedestrian bridges. It's another thing for the pedestrians to use them, because I can tell that most pedestrian bridges in Lagos today, many Nigerians, Lagosians rather, use them because they feel it's going to save their, it's energy consuming, energy sapping, and it's too high enough for them to climb. So they rather cross, look at this one here, just at 7 Up, very close to us here. They rather cross that lengthy road to get to the other side.
You are right to an extent. You're only right to an extent. It's not every pedestrian bridge that people don't want to use. Where traffic is heavy and vehicles do not have that latitude to speed, people will not want to use pedestrian bridges. Like if you are going towards Ikorodu, there are portions along that road. Ketu, that area. They can't run. Vehicles can't run. If you put pedestrian bridge over there, they may not use it because they believe in no time I can cross. But where you know that vehicles have the opportunity to speed, where the traffic is lighter, nobody will tell you before you use it. Nobody will tell you before you use it. And as you can see, look at people, those who would have loved to use the bridge, they can't use it. Now their lives are at risk. We know that Lagosians have issues obeying the law. It's like the impunity capital of our country. That's what Lagos looks like. I'm a resident here, I'm a Lagosian too, but our people don't want to obey the law. You see the red light flashing, they will still not stop. They do that a lot. I know it's in their locker. But in this area, this part of town, the overhead bridge, the pedestrian bridge is indispensable, because if you don't put it there, more and more people will die.
Right.
More and more people will die. I'm not talking about Ojota. The traffic is heavy in Ojota, so people can't, especially in rush hour, people can't speed. You know it. So people would rather cross. But even if we want to insist that people use those bridges because it costs money to build those bridges, we can create barricades along the medians.
Well, it was created at Ojota and nothing happened.
No. When they created it, people were forced to come because you can't cross. It may have been vandalized now, so people can use it. I remember with these stories then, it was the traffic of human beings crossing was huge. And people were saying they should have actually built more bridges, because you see people queue, long queues, just to cross. Because you can't cross. Somebody had put those barricades. You cannot. How do you want to climb over them? You can't. So that is the thing. It's a habit that has been there for long. But we have to find a way to even make it impossible
for people to cross the
for people to be able to put their lives at risk. Some people don't value their lives, but when they die, government will be the one to come and pack their remains and all that. So we have to ensure that people use those bridges, make it difficult for them to find an alternative. But this one, that Lagosians have the attitude of not wanting to use the bridges. It's no reason for us not to put it there. Go and see how people are using the one in Alausa now. In the evening, you see a lot of people using it because it's more convenient for them to use it.
CK, and before we came on this discussion, you were giving us an insight of what you experienced, how it affected your movement down here. Could you share with us, and how do you think the government can respond to the urgency of the situation?
Yes, I said I almost came late for the program. I live on the houses, so it's a place I take every day. And the economic and human loss that we experience on that as it's on a daily basis is unimaginable. That particular place is very strategic. Strategic in the sense that that is the only place you pass through once you leave Third Mainland Beach, coming towards the express, hitting the Ibadan Expressway. The only alternative you have is to pass through Oroshoki, now go to Antony, come down, and now take Ikorodu Road. But if you don't, you must pass through these houses. So the traffic on that route is always heavy, either going or coming. So that is why it's very, very strategic that this particular bridge, people use it. Just as BKO said, it is on a highway. It is highway. Once you leave the secretariat, Alausa, the next place you are coming to is Alakpere. This is at Alakpere. Once you leave Alakpere, you hit Ogudu. The next place is Oroshoki. From Oroshoki, you enter the Third Mainland Bridge. So most of the vehicles, majority of the vehicles moving towards the inland pass through the place. And I wonder why this is taking too long. We're talking about Ojota. We have 2 bridges in Ojota now. People use the bridge. But you always know that, just as Vicky also said, that some people just don't have the patience. At a point in life, we're using Kai to be catching people.
That
is what I'm saying. At a point, we're using Kai to catch people. But at the end of it all, put it for those that will use that value their lives. Those that don't value their life, that want to be jumping. Oh, well and good. You can only bet expressive. We have time and time again, they've run jingles on radio, on television, on a daily basis. On the people. Those that will not listen. But that people don't use it. It is an ISO, and the problem I have now is, whose duty is to fix that bridge? Is it the Lagos State government or the federal government? Even if it's federal, I think it's the duty of the Lagos State government to secure the lives of the people of this state. So I asked, what is the work of the Lagos State Ministry of Works in all this? Because they were quick to come the day it collapsed. I watched, TVC was the first TV station, because it's closer to you. Yeah. You were the first, you were there live. I saw Sarah on that spot that very much, as early as 6 a.m. to report that. And I saw that those from Alausa came in. And they said they are going to have an impact assessment of the bridge, the impact of the bridge. Whether it was totally damaged, whether going to replace it or just that portion. Everybody, you need to go there now and see the level of traffic. People coming from the island and do, because you have to totally slow down.
Yes.
You have to totally slow down because they will stop you, and because of stopping you, traffic builds up.
Yes.
For people to pass, to walk past, and the rest of where people could have just used the bridge so I don't think it's something. I think this is a topic we shouldn't leave. Yeah. We should consistently be on this until the right people do the right thing. Something is not about it.
Absolutely.
I think usually on this kind of highway that belongs to the federal government, the state government needs to take permission. If they want to do anything, they have to
get permission,
give
federal permission
right of way, or what's it called, before they can start work. In fact, the pedestrian bridge at Alausa was delayed for years because of that issue of right of way and all that, and the fact that rival parties were in charge at the center and in the state. Somehow bad politics got in the way. But now there's no such excuse. And the governor shouldn't watch people
lose their lives.
Daily basis.
Yes. Nobody will blame the federal government. It's the one that they will blame. Yeah. That's the way we are. Yeah. It's the one that they will blame.
Let's hope something is done about this quickly as well. Let's just quickly move on to our next issue of discussion, where the military rule is no longer desirable. It's not only because it is brutal, but also abnormal. The Defense Headquarters has dismissed a claim of a coup in Nigeria, describing it as the figment of imagination. Well, in a statement in Abuja, the acting director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, said the claims of a coup and that of putting the Guards Brigade on high alert over unusual movements are malicious and unfounded. The Defense Headquarters has threatened legal action against purveyors of such rumors. BKO, they usually say there is no smoke without fire. Well, first off, why the spread of these rumors in the first place? It's neither the first time hearing about this coup plot. Why the spread of such rumors?
First is the people who are spreading it, they know what they are doing. It didn't start today. Before the inauguration, people who couldn't live with the possibility of Bola Tinubu being sworn in as president of Nigeria went to the Ministry of Defense to beg them to take over. And you look at the picture of people who went to beg. These are people who were not born the last time the military ruled Nigeria. They don't know anything, and they don't read. Because people who read and have the power of understanding will know that, look, a military rule is not what you want. It's not what you want to see.
Give us a perspective of what it was like when we had military rule, perhaps just for people to understand what it is like.
People, journalists are thrown into jail just for criticizing the government. There was one that happened in the South. A journalist published a story on the birthday of a governor, a military governor. And that military governor got the journalist arrested and shaved his hair. Tortured him and shaved his hair.
Bottle.
Huh?
Yeah, with bottle. Not even...
with bottle?
Yes.
Just to punish him for the audacity of publishing a negative story on his...
He's a first-class traditional ruler in Rivers State. Yes.
I don't even know if he's still alive.
No, he's thief.
I've not read about him a lot.
Yeah,
he was young then.
He was young.
And a lot of them were young, so they were even prone to misbehaving. Now, I personally, Bagauda Kalto was my colleague. We were in the North together, and we were in the Northern Bureau of the News. He was good at getting good stories. He may not have the time to write, right? Some of us were interested in writing lengthy stuff and all that, but in terms of getting stories, snippets, he was the master. He shone like neon lights as reporter in Punch, and then he was recruited for the news magazine. We had such an excellent team at inception. He was wasted by the military. He was a victim of military rule. Today, that press center in Alausa is named after him by President Tinubu when he was governor of Lagos, because he realized the role that he played. There are other people creating, lying against people that they planned coup. They will now, anybody that they don't like, they will put their names on the list of coup plotters. There were at least 2 fake coups that I witnessed. Coup that didn't happen. And people were arrested, sentenced to death. That of Vatsa. Remember what the former chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dr. Bali, I had an exclusive interview with him. The only interview he granted. And he said that when they were looking at the facts of the Vasa coup, that they didn't see evidence.
Mama Vasa.
But was Vasa not executed?
It was.
So you think one little boy will look into the camera, abuse a president? Some of the freedoms that people enjoy now, calling Tinubu idiot, calling him all kinds of names. You get away with it? A lot of people, a lot of journalists fled into exile. My own bosses could not even stay to work here. And the people who dared to work, Many paid with their lives. So all these little boys and girls talking about military, they don't even know what they are saying.
You remember what happened in The Guardian?
Yes, Irabo, what's the other person? Tunde Thompson. They were just through the instrumentality of Decree 4 by Babangida, by Buhari. Because what the military first do, once they take over power, they suspend the constitution. So if the constitution guarantees you all kinds of rights, it's been taken away. So they rule with martial law, which permits them to seize you and then take you wherever. Look at great journalists like this woman who was first NTA's National Assembly correspondent, Chris Anyanwu. What did Chris Anyanwu plan coup? And she was jailed for coup. Once they pick someone, you are close to that person, jail. People don't know what it is, or how beautiful freedom is until they've lost it. But we are not going to allow them, those of us who have seen the worst of military rule, we are not going to allow them to control, this narrative. They can go and set up their own country where, if they like, they can invite the military to come and take over. Even in African countries, we know what the military did. If you are deemed disloyal, even as an officer, the next thing they will put your name down that you planned a coup. They win many lives. Colonel Ajayi is dead now. The torture that he went through. They lied again. Obasanjo was accused of planning a coup. He never planned any coup. Lies. And you sentence people to jail down to death for something that never happened. How did Obasanjo plan a coup?
So in other words, coups are not good, not only for social development or otherwise. It's not good totally. Wow.
Where people take away your freedom. You enjoy the comfort of your home. Your wife, your husband is there, your children, you see them daily. Do you know many times in the company of your wife, they will seize you, take you away. Your wife will be the one running around. You won't even know where you are kept. People like Omenka, the man who popularized the phrase, "I will waste you," who now fled Nigeria after the military civilian rule came. Do you know how many people Omenka killed in DMI? These are stories. If we want to talk about, we can do a whole program for people to know that military rule is not something to even think about.
Right.
It's only the unthinking and the ignorant who will open his mouth and ask for military rule. Even soldiers, they know that military rule destroyed the military. It introduced politics to the military. And many officers lost their commission, they lost their lives. If not for military rule, a brilliant career that Colonel Dangiwa Umar had for speaking the truth about June 12, you know what happened to him. Maybe you didn't, but you should know. So this is the thing.
Yeah.
We can't encourage people. And this, I'm happy that the military has said, no, we are not thinking about this. This is what happens. Civilians will push the military, come and take over power. Somewhere they lose election, because things didn't go their way, they will be the ones to go and tell the military, come and take over now. You are the best things in sliced bread. Come and take over. We are the ones, civilians are usually the people who go to drag these people out of their barracks. But some of them eventually pay with their lives. If not for military rule, I'm sure Abiola will probably still be alive now, because many of his mates are still alive.
Yeah. Looking at this situation, it all stems from misinformation, which is spreading quickly via social media.
Yes,
fake news.
Well, fake news, yeah. So how can this be will I say gagged? Not really gagged. How can this be controlled?
My worry is that what is behind this? As you said, it has been consistent. This is not the first time. At least in the last 1 month or 2 months, the military have come out to say that, no, about twice now, to refute that. There may be some fifth columnists, as it were. They are trolling this narrative up and trying to ginger certain people within the military to do otherwise. And as BK said, the worst civilian regime is better than the best military regime. Military regime across the globe is an aberration. Go and see countries where, even though that were jubilating in Niger the other day, when the military took over, go and ask them now. Go and ask them, those in Niger. They have started, those in Guinea, those in Burkina Faso, go and ask them how they are faring. You know, time they came in, all of them were jubilating and running everywhere. Go there and ask them. You know, and that worries me. Part of the statement of the military that I like, if they can follow it through, is that they are going to instigate legal action, certain individuals, and they have identified some already, according to them. Let's see how that pans out. The fact remains that we have problems. There's no denying the fact that Nigeria, we have problems. Nigerians are suffering. We are going serious excruciating pains. That is no news. The fact that Nigerians cannot find food to eat is not an issue. It's not the news that Naira is now about 1,000 to 1,900 to $1 and the rest of them. But if you look at it in totality, the fact is that which would you prefer? A civilian regime where you have your freedom and where you can express yourself, where you can do things that you want to do, irrespective of whatever religion. You always go for a civilian regime any day, anytime. And even at that, the last one that we had, what were the benefits? Give me any civilian, any military regime, irrespective of how good, right from 1960 or 1966, when the military started intervening in Nigerian politics. Tell me something good out of what happened.
Some would argue that they build bridges and every other infrastructure with
civilian didn't they bring bridges? This one that we're talking about, people were not building bridges. This one in Lagos, I will not be. Didn't you see the one number they built? The one at the airport, that airport. The one at that airport, to go and check that airport from international airport to Oshun, the most beautiful in Lagos. Is it not civilian that built it? What are we talking about?
Then do
they can't change now. Who do I now? You know, see the one we became bid for this thing. Even my own opinion.
If you go to Kanu, go to a place called Hotoro in Kanu. Go and see the interchange, the most beautiful interchange in our country that Ganduje, the former governor, built. It's like you are looking at an octopus. The changes, what they did.
Let me tell you, the road. Let me tell you, the road that has been fixed from Lagos to Ibadan. Now the road have been bad. It has been fixed. It can make Ibadan from Lagos for less than 1 hour now. It's in military. Let us leave all those things. The fact remains that some people just want to bring some level of discontent within the politics, and they are building. And yes, and they
Ibadan expressway.
No, I said repairs, not the beauty. I'm talking of the repairs. You know, and they try to whip sentiment and try to build moods of the people. I don't think yes, that's what they're trying to do. The mood of the people and try to now galvanize them into resting. But while we are saying that, let me also use the words of Chinua Achebe in his book, Things Fall Apart. He said, while we are chasing away the hawk, let us also talk to the hen. I hope you understand what I mean. Let us also talk to politicians to behave themselves. Let our politicians behave themselves. And I continue to say it from 1966 now, our politicians are not learning anything. When we left the studio last week, BK, I was telling BK of somebody that used to the clothes. BK, remember the word I was talking about? that they closed the guy where was about over. Let our politicians, people are suffering. Let them know that the millions and millions and millions that they continue siphoning on the billions of this thing.
Even when we say that, military too. Still,
of course, yeah.
We've not had any leader that stole money like Abacha. Even despite the fact that they came together, they settled out of court, and they considered money to Obasanjo regime that time. Till today, in spite of that, and the government gave some of the money to them, not less than $2 billion or so. Okay, you take. We are still recovering Abacha loot. Was that not a military?
We are not recovering. We are receiving.
Anytime we are broke.
We are broke.
We'll continue with this conversation. We'll not end this program this evening, but I can imagine how much we have a lot to say regarding this. Well, thank you so much, my guests in the studio, Babajide Kolade Otitoju and CKN Chris Kehinde Wandu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time with us. Well, that's it, folks, on Journalist Hangout today. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch a repeat broadcast of it tonight at 11 Join us again on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Esther Makwariola. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Today, there are many complex, boring, expensive, and useless exercise machines in the market. Or you pay over 400,000 naira a year for gym membership and never go. ShopX TV is proud to introduce Total Crunch Evolution, the compact, versatile fitness solution that is perfect for you. With Total Crunch, you get a complete fitness workout in one machine. Say goodbye to ineffective and complicated exercise machines. Now, you have the power to transform your fitness journey and get the body you have always wanted right in the comfort of your own home. Total Crunch is the efficient and effective way to build muscle, tone and tighten your legs, shape your back and pectorals, while strengthening your core and defining your abs. Now that's totally effective to get the body you want. With Total Crunch, your whole body works out at the same time. Only Total Crunch can put your whole body in motion as you burn calories and lose weight. Just one fitness routine a week will achieve serious results in 4 weeks.
Total Crunch Evolution has enhanced the way I work out and the results I achieve. It's not just a fitness equipment, it's a life changer. This versatile, time-saving machine is perfect for anyone looking to lose weight or stay in shape. Trust me, this is the game changer you've been waiting for.
With my busy schedule, finding time to work out and stay in shape has always been a challenge until I discovered the Total Crunch Evolution. It's a lifesaver.
Traditional exercise equipment is large, complex, takes up so much space in your home, and you could be paying up to 400,000 naira for annual gym fees. Get the Total Crunch Evolution, the 2-in-1 fitness solution to save the cost and transform your body from the convenience of your home. Similar equipment costs 300,000 naira, but you can get the Total Crunch Evolution for not 300,000 naira, not even 200,000 naira. Order right now and get your Total Crunch Evolution for just 179,950 naira only. And that's not all. You can get our Total Crunch Evolution in 2 easy payments of 89,975 naira. That's right. Pay twice to get your Total Crunch. And remember, if you order now, you get the Total Crunch Evolution delivered to you for free anywhere you are in Nigeria. And it comes with a ShopX 30-day money-back guarantee. Call the number on your screen now or scan the code to place your order now. But hurry, limited stock available. The proceeding is a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impactful investigations. Enjoy resourceful news coverage in real time. TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. Live every day on this channel.
TVC News. First with breaking news.
Wherever you see destruction, it's because God is absent. There is no destruction in God. So who started killing from Genesis? Satan. Jesus exposed him. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I am come that you may have life and have it how much? More abundantly. I prophesy as your amen is coming like thunder. Whatever is yours, receive it now.
Lagos is the most visited state in Africa as the 5th largest economy on the continent, covering the state and its government.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu do solemnly swear
You're watching Beyond 100 Days, and we're following some of the big stories today. You can join the conversation right now on X. Remember to tag at TVC News and use the hashtag Beyond 100 Days. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. So, a news just in from Abuja, 12 years after the Steve Orosaye panel submitted its report on restructuring and rationalizing federal government parastatals and agencies, and a white paper issued 2 years after, we understand that the federal government has today agreed to consider the implementation of the 2014 report that will ensure the merging, scrapping and moving of several ministry departments and agencies. The Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, disclosed this on Monday while addressing State House reporters after the Federal Executive Council meeting with President Bola Tinubu. The several agencies that will be merged include National Agency for Control of AIDS, NACA, to be merged with Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is to be merged with the Commission for Refugee Migration. NIPC will be merged with NEPC, and the National Theatre will now be merged with National Troop of Nigeria. Recall that in 2011, President Goodluck Jonathan established the Presidential Commission on restructuring and rationalization of federal government parastatals, commissions, and agencies led by Stephen Orosaye, but most of the report's substance was rejected. It's a developing story, and we're going to bring you more updates in a few minutes from now. So watch out our news at 7 and 10 as well. The Federal High Court in Abuja today adjourned till the 19th of March for ruling on the bail application filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, in the terrorism and treasonable felony charges against him. Mr. Kanu, who has been in custody of the DSS since 2021, is praying the court to admit him to bail in line with Section 161 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. Counsel to Mr. Kanu, Aloy Ejimako, highlighted before the court the medical conditions of the defendant, and counsel to the federal government objected to the application for bail, submitting that there is nothing before the court to show that the medications being given to Mr. Kanu by his DSS doctors are ineffective. I spoke with our judiciary correspondent Celestina Area earlier on the news on what transpired in court today.
Every client is entitled to a counsel he or she feels will best canvass their case before the court. Although we know before now Michael Zekome is senior advocate of Nigeria, was the one handling the defense of Nnamdi Kanu, but today we saw that his counsel was changed. Reasons were not given. We asked the new counsel about the reason behind the change of counsel, and he said that it's at the discretion of the client. And also today, the federal government changed its counsel to a senior advocate of Nigeria, Adegboyega Awomolo. So this may be strategic to them for their cases, but it's not something new. It's a practice that every client or defendant can at any point in time of their trial decide to change their counsel. If maybe they feel, for reasons best known to them, it may be because the previous counsel is not doing a good job, or they believe this new counsel will do a better job, or probably strategic. So, but it's not something strange only to the legal professional practice.
Celestina, Nnamdi Kanu has been wearing the same Fendi outfit since last year. What was the last time I remember him coming to court? What's the story behind this cloth?
Well, as funny as it may seem, it's actually a serious issue. He was arrested in 2021, and that outfit of which he was arrested in is what he's still putting on up to this very moment. Although this is his first appearance after the Supreme Court had ordered that he return to the Federal High Court for his trial. Before today, Justice Binta Anyanku, which is the judge of the Federal High Court where he's being charged, has ordered that the DSS allow him change of clothes. But Nnamdi Kanu has insisted that he will only wear his traditional attire, which is attributed to the Igbo culture. And that issue was also raised today at the court, where Justice Binta said that she would not allow any attire that is attributed to any custom or tradition, that he can be allowed to wear plain clothes, plain colors, that if he insists on wearing traditional attires, he should continue to come in the particular attire or particular clothes he's putting on. So she told the DSS that DSS should allow Mr. Kanu change of clothes. And also his counsel had raised issues as to the challenges they face when they go to see him in the detention facility of the DSS, because they said that he is being kept in a 10-by-10 room.
Judiciary correspondent Celestina area with updates from the Nnamdi Kanu trial earlier today in Abuja. Let's turn our attention to the nationwide protest proposed by organized labor. Are Nigerians expecting a showdown tomorrow in the country as regards the protest called by organized labor over economic hardship and unmet demands? That's the big question we're asking on the show today. Labor, however, may not be united on this decision. We hear that Trade Union Congress is saying its members will not be participating in the planned protest scheduled for tomorrow and Wednesday, that's 27th and 28th of February. And this is according to President of the TUC, Festus Osifo. I'm joined by National Assembly correspondent Joke Adesa, who is live in our Abuja studio. Joke, precisely why is TUC opting out of this protest?
Thank you, Nifemi. I think TUC was even clear in answering that question. Its idea is that there was even no question of opting out in the first instance. If you look at the fact that it was a singular decision taken by the Nigeria Labour Congress. Yes, both congresses took the decision to give government a 14-day ultimatum, after which a nationwide strike will commence. But even before the expiration of that ultimatum, we saw the NLC come up with that notice of mass protest. And so what TUC was clear about at this event today was the fact that it was never part of the resolution coming from the NLC for a mass protest. It believes that over time, since October, that they had agreement with government, they have been able to follow up, and government has been able to implement some of these agreements. For instance, it talks about the fact that out of the 16-point agreement, at least they are convinced that government, at least to an extent, is sincere in implementing this agreement. He spoke about the fact that, yes, after the October agreement, government kind of slowed down in paying the wage award of 35,000 naira. But when they mounted pressure, when both congresses mounted pressure, he said he could confirm that 4 months have been paid. It means that government is not indebted to any of its workers as far as wage award is concerned up till the end of January, meaning that they've paid up to the end of January. So you can only talk about February, which of course is about to end. And so that's for TUC, it was not part of that decision, and so it will not be participating in that protest tomorrow and Wednesday. That much came out from the TUC president today.
That's a lie for us in